Rockford's home for Classic Rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning. I'm Double T. Special guest joining me, comedian Bert Kreischer. Bert, how you doing today?
How many times have we talked and I'm not coming to Rockford?
Oh, so many times, and I am excited you are finally coming to my town.
I know, dude. I've been saying this all day. Rockford, I had two friends, Mike Osborne and Dave Johnson, that grew up in Rockford, and they used to talk about fishing on the Rock River, I guess.
Yeah.
And I had visions of what this town was like. Dave Johnson came to high school out of Rockford, and he had a do-rag on. Do you remember do-rags?
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, what's that? And he's like, oh, all my buddies in Rockford wear them. And then we started wearing do-rags. I credit Rockford for the do-rag.
I can see that. You know, this is a do-rag town.
It's a do-rag kind of town. I wouldn't be shocked if I wore a do-rag on stage.
You know what you got to do? You got to get some Bert Kreischer do-rags made up to sell at merch that night.
That's not a bad idea.
But yeah, I'm excited. You're finally coming to Rockford. You know, if you want to hang out, I'll take you around, show you Rockford, give you a little hint of what it's all about.
I would absolutely love that. I think we're real close the day before, and if I'm not mistaken, no, I think we fly in Wednesday, so I got all day Thursday there. I should come in and do radio.
Oh my God, that would be great. Bert, you're invited. Please come on and hang out. I'll give you the whole morning, man.
Oh, all right, deal. All right, we're coming in. April 2nd?
Yes.
Done deal. I'm coming in.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. That's going to be great. But you know what? You're nonstop on the road. Is there any place you haven't been to yet?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we just signed a deal with a promoter to do Russia in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, that's been like my goal. My feather in my cap is going to be, I want to go back. I want to go to St. Petersburg. I want to do a show in a theater at St. Petersburg. And then I want to take the train to Moscow just like I did in 95 when I robbed my classmates, and take the train to Moscow with the film crew, and then do a show in Moscow. I can't wait. I'm so excited. They just called yesterday and they're like, we have official offers to do a tour in Russia, and I was like, deal, done.
Oh man, you got to do a documentary about that.
Oh, if I'm telling you, that's my goal. That's my goal. But you know the thing, not to trash traditional media at all, because there's places like Netflix that give you full reign, full swing to do whatever you want. But part of me goes, just Bert, shoot it on your own, edit it on your own, put it on YouTube for everyone to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that would be great.
I'm not saying that, a lot of stuff gets lost on YouTube, and I don't really care about monetization on YouTube. It's not my thing. My whole goal of videos on YouTube, like Something's Burning, which is my cooking show, is just to get people to come see me live. I just do these so that people come see me live. Me and Bill Burr started a podcast. No intention of monetizing it. All we wanted to do was give it to the fans so that if they like it, come out and see us live. That's it. That's all we're good at, really, is stand-up. And so part of me goes, just shoot it on my own, make it what I want it to make, because people will edit out the horrible stuff, but on YouTube I can leave it in, and that's the stuff that makes me laugh. So we'll see. Hopefully, ideally somewhere big buys it, and you can do it for a lot of money and have a blast. And if not, I'll just do the tour and bring a crew with me.
See, and that might even be better, just kind of doing it low budget the way you want to do it and give it more of a real feel.
Oh, yeah, because, look, trust me when I say television crews are awesome to work with. They're fun guys, but there's a lot of like, hold on, we're going to stop down, we're going to light this, as opposed to me just having a GoPro in hand, having a camera guy with an 80D, Canon 80D, and not worrying about audio, just making it real,
I mean, that whole adventure sounds really cool. When you started talking about the first thing I thought of, I want to see this somewhere later on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will definitely be shooting it. I will definitely be covering it, and I will definitely be posting it somewhere. And when I do, I guarantee you I will text you with the link.
Oh, nice. I'm talking to Bert Kreischer, comedian, coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. Rockford's home for Classic Rock, 96.7 The Eagle. Rockford's home for Classic Rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning. I'm Double T. Special guest joining me, comedian Bert Kreischer, coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. And you're kind of one of those guys that you're all about doing everything you can to market yourself, social media, video, specials, everything. You're out there full blown.
Well, this is the way I look at it. And some people might find this annoying, and I understand that. But, my theory is I'm a big fan of Wilco, right? Jeff Tweedy is, probably my favorite artist. And they were just in L.A., and I didn't know about it. And I got upset. I was like, why? I got upset, and I was like, damn it. And I got upset with myself, and then I was like, wait, it's not my fault. It's actually Wilco's fault. It's Wilco's fault that I didn't see them. I understand that they don't care to play bigger venues, that they like being in like more intimate venues. But I was like, I would have liked to have known about those tickets. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm sure there's people who want to see me do stand-up that don't know that I'm coming to their city. So I took the responsibility on myself. I reverse engineered my interaction with Wilco and thought, well, if I was Wilco, I would do everything I can to get people to come see me. I want everyone to see me. I'm very proud of the material I work on. I mean, I'm doing a brand new hour for this Birdie Boy World Tour, a brand new hour, and I am busting my ass every night at the store, doing 3 shows a night at the store so that I can bring the best material. I'm working hard, so I would love to share the material with people. So that's why I literally pulled aside a marketing budget for myself, and it's not professional marketing. It's me hiring a marching band to come to my backyard and play Rubber Band Man while I dance, right? It's stupid videos, me learning how to dance a hip-hop dance to Post Malone, and it cost me $1,200, but I put tour dates on the side, and if it makes you giggle, if it makes you laugh at all, and you see your city, and then you can tell your friend, oh, Bert's coming, and that's how we spread the word, then that's where my brain's at with content and Instagram and videos, is like, I just want you to see me do stand-up.
And you're that guy that everyone's like, that's Bert, man. I got to go see Bert. He's fun. I like Bert. You're the guy that everybody wants to hang out with.
Yeah, and that's also, I mean, I get that. And by the way, once again, to bring this back to Jeff Tweedy, who's my favorite, if there was an opportunity, if we got done a Wilco show and Jeff Tweedy was like, hey, just giving everyone a heads up, I'm going to be at the bar across the street. If you want to come by and say hi, take a picture, tell me about your favorite song, whatever, I'll be there. That's why I do that after the shows, is because I know for a fact I would be the first guy in line to say to Jeff Tweedy, just so you know, those living room shows you did back in the 90s or early 2000s, I had all those recordings. I know you're not supposed to get them, but they were like so much fun for me to listen to. I love just the back and forth. Like, I like doing that. I would want to get a picture. So I kind of just work this business in like what I would like if I was a fan of me,
Oh, yeah.
And I know that because like I'm a fan of Bill Burr is one of my favorite human beings alive, right?
Yeah.
Bill Burr, Tom Segura are my 2 closer friends. And I'm also a fan of what they do. So I get an opportunity to kind of, when Bill gets done a special, pick his brain about why he did it the way he did it. And so I know that, comedy's gotten so big. I don't want to be that guy that gets done his show, gets in his tour bus, and drives to the next city,
Comedian Bert Kreischer coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. Rockford's home for Classic Rock, 96.7 The Eagle. Rockford's home for Classic Rock's 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning. I'm Double T. Special guest joining me, comedian Bert Kreischer coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. And what I really like about what you and your group of buddies, comedians, do, you go on each other's podcasts and you let us in behind the curtain to see what it's really like, what you guys are like, what the business is like, and what it's like to be part of the world of comedy.
I was a fan, let me very candidly, and I think I've said this a million times, but I was a huge fan of Joe Rogan's way before I even met him. Like, I was a fan of what he was doing on YouTube. I was a fan of news radio. And when he started this podcast, I was a massive fan of his podcast. Like number one fan. And so when he said, hey, man, you want to do my podcast? I was so blown away. I mean, I'd meet guys like Joey Diaz, who I had listened to on the podcast but hadn't met. We just worked in different clubs. And I knew so much about Joey or Joe. The first time I met Joe, I walked up to his front door. This is back when he did it in his house. And I was like, he was like, hey, man, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I was like, all right, real quick, I got a fanboy out. I want to see your dogs. I want to see your deprivation tank. I want to play a game of pool with you. I want to get high, and then we can do a podcast. and he looked at me, and by the way, this is like a different Joe Rogan back then. He looked at me like, okay. And then took me on a tour of his house, introduced me to his wife. It was like amazing. And then I'm like, all right, now I'm not going to fanboy out. Now we can do a podcast.
And now you're set. You have that out of the way, and now you can do a good, interesting podcast for everybody.
Yeah, dude, I am a fan. Number one, I'm a fan. Like, I'm a fan of comedy. And so the idea of like, that's my favorite part about comedy is that like people are digging podcasts and listening to comics talk about comedy and addiction and weight loss and how they write material, like all that stuff. I dig it all.
People want to know what's going on, and we have that opportunity. Back in the day, you know, you got the album of your favorite comedian, maybe Richard Pryor or something, but you didn't really know a lot about the actual comedians themselves. So now I really do feel like I've never met you besides on the phone, but I feel like I know you. It's incredible.
I think it's cool, and I think it's also cool that there's comics that still don't want to let you to know them, like Dimitri Martin or Daniel Tosh have kept the veil up, and trust me when I say I envy them at times. That like we had to buy a new house because I was putting on Instagram so much. I was doing so many videos on Instagram that people figured out where I lived, and like people would just come up to my front door and knock on the door and be like, "Is Bert here?" And my wife's like, "Yeah, who are you?" And they're like, "Just a fan." And so we had to buy a new house. I was at the new house the other day, and I started shooting a video, and my daughters were like, "Dad, the reason we have this house is because you were Instagramming." They're like, "Please do not Instagram at this house." I looked at them, and I was like, "Guys, you got a month where I want to Instagram, but I'm going to start Instagramming pretty soon."
If you were home, would you go meet that person?
Dude, I spent 30 minutes in my front yard with a FedEx guy who had the package, and I'm watching him walk up to the house. I'm in the front smoking a cigar. I'm watching him walk up to the house, and he goes, "Shut up. The machine?" And I was like, "I'm right here, bro." And he's like, "Dude, this is where you live?" And I was like, "Yep." He's like, "That's crazy, man. I thought your house would be bigger." I was like, "Yeah, a lot of people say that."
Comedian Bert Kreischer coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. Bert Kreischer, Rockford's home for classic rock, 96.7 The Eagle. Rockford's home for classic rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning. I'm Double T. Special guest joining me, comedian Bert Kreischer coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. Is there a real separation between Bert and the machine, or is it just the same person?
It's the same person. It's the same person, probably to a detriment. And I think, you know, obviously I think I've been the machine. I mean, legit, I've been the machine since I was 22. Is when I started like partying. Like I didn't really party before then. Like I was fun, I was funny, but like I legit started partying and having and being the guy that wanted to live the story that people talked about. Like I remember like a change, and then the Rolling Stone magazine came out, and I saw like a viability in it, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, I lived this life. I was this crazy guy in college, and now I have a career. I can go into comedy. And then people started like hiring me because I was the guy that would jump off the stratosphere, or I was the guy that would skydive with Rachel Ray, or fight a bear, or, you know, be a MMA fighter for a day. And so I started accruing all these crazy stories, and then, I mean, by the time my kids showed up, there was no separation between church and state. Like the guy I was on stage is the guy I am off stage. To a fault at times, you know, like we're at a bar mitzvah the other night and I ripped my shirt off and start dancing, and my daughters are holding their faces like, "Oh my God." But my wife, that's the guy she married. She's laughing hysterically. We've got, if you go to my Instagram, you will see the best picture of me and my wife dancing. I'm shirtless and my daughters are smothered in between us, just humiliating us.
I love it. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's like, you know, my dad was a lawyer, so like there were certain things you couldn't do in our house because my dad was a lawyer. Like there was no fake IDs, no marijuana. But my dad now is totally into marijuana. So like in a weird way, like there was no separation with who he was and back then and who he is. But then who he is really is a guy who smokes marijuana. That's who he is today. And I'm like, wait, where was that guy when I was in high school?
You could have been the cool guy with the cool dad.
Yeah, right? Instead of me.
Comedian Bert Kreischer coming to the Coronado on April 2nd. Marijuana legal in Illinois.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I'm so tired. Like, it's so nice to be able to cut off your drinking with 2 hits of a joint, you know? It's like the best thing about marijuana is like 2 hits of a joint and I am done drinking. I'm like, all right, I'm going to chill. But if without the weed, like sometimes you go on the road, you can't bring weed with you in certain places.
Right.
And without the weed, you're like, oh, so I guess I'll just be drinking in my tour bus all night.
You like doing the tour bus?
It's my favorite thing I've ever done. I literally miss, I know this sounds crazy, but I miss touring. Like when I'm not touring, I'm bummed out. Like I love touring. Because you think about it, you're in a tour bus, confined, small location with all your best friends. And every night's a party. You wake up in the morning, everyone recaps recaps what happened the night before. Our tour bus driver is absolutely hilarious. We all go to lunch. We come back. We go to Planet Fitness or the YMCA. Get up, go do a show that night, and then redo it. I love it, man. I think that's why I'm so cool with touring right now. Like, we just got done in November, just got done the Body Shots tour, and then I was like, put me on another tour. So we're doing the Birdie Boy tour starting January 30th. And I'm like, yeah, I'll focus. I'll write the material. I'll be ready for it. Just get me on tour. I love it. I absolutely love it.
By the way, I think that would be the funniest to run into you at the Y. Hey, Bert, how you doing?
It happens a lot in the steam room.
Well, April 2nd, you're coming to the Coronado here in Rockford. Tickets are on sale now. Really looking forward to Bert coming to town. Bert Kreischer, thank you so much for taking the time. If people are looking for you on the internet and everything, where should they go?
BertBertBert.com has all my Insta, my Twitter, my YouTube, Bert Burp, and all ticket sales and all merch. BertBertBert.com.
Bert Kreischer, Rockford's home for classic rock, 96.7 The Eagle.